it's Chris. Welcome back to Beauty and the Vape. The vape. Just the vape today. No makeup. I'm coming to you guys today with an uncut video, with an uncensored video, an unedited video, to tell you my vape story. And this might be a little long, so if you guys need to speed it up, as usual, speed it up to 1.5. I decided to come at you guys today raw, no makeup. A lot of you may be shocked. Some of you may have seen me on some live shows without makeup on, but I'm in my pajamas. I've kind of been this way all week, and I'll get a little into that. So, my vaping story started in 2011. Actually, it really started my freshman year in high school. My dad had his first heart attack at the age of 38. And I remember that day very distinctly. I was a freshman in high school. If you hear my dog, I apologize. And I remember getting called down to the counselor's office. And they said, you know, your dad has had a heart attack. And he was 38. And I'm saying to myself, this can't be. Being a freshman, I was kind of unaware of my family's medical history, but my family, especially on my dad's side, was riddled with heart disease. So the story goes, my dad was a smoker, and his father had dropped dead of a heart attack at the age of 50. He put his key in the door and fell dead on the front porch. He was also a smoker. So at the age of 38, my dad went to my mother's work. She was a nurse, and she worked in a, private office. And he went to meet her for lunch. And there were like 3 or 4 flights of stairs. And he got up to the top, and my mother took one look at him, and he was gray. So they rushed him to the hospital, and he had his first heart attack. Now, I say first heart attack. I remember sitting in the counselor's office, knowing my dad had had a heart attack, and they really had no other information for me. They had said my aunt or somebody, a family member, was going to pick me up. And my brother is 5 years younger than me, so he had, I'm sure, a different story and even less knowledge than I had. So you're sitting there all by yourself. The day goes on, and you're waiting for someone to pick you up, and you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happened. Well, as it turned out, he survived. He had his first bypass at the age of 40. 40 years old. I'm 47. No, I'm sorry. I'm 46. I always age myself. I'm 46. And I remember as the years went on, he was the man in the chair. My mom took very good care of him. But as teenagers, me and my brother, we were not allowed to go to him for anything. Any problems, you went to mom. You couldn't upset dad. Heart disease robbed me during my teenage years of knowing my dad. I wasn't allowed to go to him for anything. It might upset him. If I did something wrong, it'll kill your dad. Those were words that were used. That was a lot of pressure for a teenager. As we all know, if you have teenagers, they're not perfect. We all make mistakes. We screw up. Things that are maybe not so serious seem really serious, and some things are really serious. I didn't have a dad to go to. Was he there physically? Yeah, he was. But we weren't allowed to, interact that way due to his heart attack and his bypass surgery and the fact that stress would kill him. Since then, he has had 1 or 2 more bypass surgeries. He is now 70, I want to say he was like 72. I'm horrible with ages, but I want to say he's like 72. And, you know, not in the greatest of health, but not in not great health. Thank the Lord, or whoever you pray to, or whatever. You know, I say thank the Lord. A lot of people ask me about my religious preferences, and, you know, honestly, I don't have one. I'm kind of a mishmash of, you know, a lot of different beliefs. But some of the things I've went through in my life, and I will probably tell those stories as my channel evolves. I do believe there's a Lord. There's definitely a higher power for sure. Or I would not be here. But for many reasons. But that's, you know, a story for another time. So he's out of surgeries. There's nothing else that can be done for him. When it's his time, it's his time. In 2011, we're going to jump forward, I lost my cousin, and it wasn't for smoke-related, it wasn't smoke-related, anything like that, but to cancer. She was 43. Try not to get emotional, guys. I've had a really rough week, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys. December's a really rough month for me. November 16th was her birthday. So from November 16th to December 15th, which was yesterday, December 15th, she passed in 2011. And we only had her 6 months after diagnosis. She was diagnosed with stage 4 liver and colon cancer. Colon cancer, and then it spread to her liver. Now, some of you might be saying, well, what does it have to do with vaping? It wasn't smoking related. No. It wasn't. But the day I lost her, my eyes opened up. I had been a smoker I started out as a social smoker. You know, I only smoke when I drank. I haven't had a drink in like 15 years. But I only smoke when I drank. You know, you'd bum your cigarettes from your friends at the bar. And then, as time wore on, like usual, you know, then you say, okay, I'll just buy a pack for when I go out, you know, so I don't have to bum the cigarettes. And that pack ends up being, you know, it lasts you 2 weeks. And then it lasts you a week. And then it lasts you a couple days. And then it lasts you a day. And then you're hooked. And, you know, that turned into about a 2-pack a day habit. I chain smoked. I smoked in my house for a long time. I would, at this point, I was not employed. And I would sit on the computer and I would chain smoke when people weren't home. You know, when my child was at school or whatever. My children were at school. You know, and I think a lot of things that people don't tell you, because it's embarrassing, is, you know, I was one of those people, you know, you're out of cigarettes, you're out of money, you got that butt can, right? You know that little coffee can that you got? Yeah, you rummage through that, don't you? As disgusting as it is. You have other friends that smoke, they come over, they smoke, they put their butts in a can. You don't care. Doesn't matter whose mouth has been on that. Doesn't matter that it's covered in ashes. You wipe it off. You're desperate. You smoke it. It's pretty disgusting. So in 2011, like I said, I lost my cousin. My eyes were opened to mortality. She was 1.5 years older than me. And even though it wasn't smoking related, I said to myself, wow, you know, death happens. Death happens regardless. It happens to everybody. Obviously, none of us live forever. But she didn't have a choice. that coupled with the fact that I had a elementary school, son, almost entering middle school. And at this point, I would smoke outside. Things had progressed a little bit in my smoking journey, where I would smoke outside. Would I smoke far away from the house outside? No. It's winter. Or it's summer. Or you're trying to, still keep your eye on your child. I'd have the screen door shut, but the door open. And I would smoke. Did it occur to me that the smoke would blow inside? I mean, yeah, some days it was windy. Some days it did blow inside. But I said, oh, you know what? It dissipates. Whatever. You make all these excuses for yourself. My son came home one day from school, and he said, Mom, you have to stop smoking. And I said, okay, why? And he said, everyone at school is making fun of me. They say I stink. We had a one bedroom loft, and he lived up in the loft. And as everybody knows, air rises, smoke rises. These are things I never really thought of. I didn't put much thought into it. If I did put thought into it, it was a passing thought, because my addiction was my addiction. It was so powerful that I made every excuse as to, oh, it'll be okay, it's fine, or, the window was open, or it didn't reach his room, or whatever the deal was. We all make the excuses. And even that first time, I tend to be really hard on myself, and I look back on it and I say, okay, that was, Chris, that was you being a bad mom. The first time, you should have just quit. But it's called addiction. And I said, oh, come on. That's not true. In my head. I didn't really say it to him. But to him, it was sort of like, okay, I will. With no intention of, setting a date or anything like that. Thinking, okay, that conversation's over. It'll just go away. And I will continue to do what I do. Every year that goes by during this period, instance, November 16th, Carolyn's birthday, and December 15th, her death date. It's really hard for me. I isolate. You guys may not see me on Facebook as often. You may not see me, videos may slow down a little bit. You may not see me as normal, happy Chris. Things are different. And something, it doesn't have to be your story, your vape story. It doesn't have to be my vape story. It doesn't have to be anything phenomenal or anything like that. Like I said, I didn't lose anybody to smoking-related illnesses. I shouldn't say that. I did. I'll get into that more. But that didn't have the effect on me. I lost my great aunt to, she had COPD and emphysema. And I remember the last day in the hospital watching her basically drown to death in her own fluids. And she was scared. She was cohesive. She was afraid. I can't even imagine. But when I lost my cousin, mortality hit me. And I said to myself, wow. If someone who exercised all the time, took care of themselves all the time, was very healthy, was very health conscious, could have this happen to them. Cancer. What makes me immune? It opened up my eyes. Did it open up my eyes enough to quit smoking at that point? No. Because I was stressed. So let's smoke more. So the second time, my son comes to me, about a month later, maybe 2 months later, says to me, Mom, you really have to quit. Everyone's making fun of me. You know, he's almost in tears. That was when I said, you know what? Enough's enough. The first time, maybe he was trying to get, like, I convinced myself, maybe he's trying to get attention. Sorry. The second time, I just couldn't deny it anymore. Duh. Smoke rises. You know, hello, he lives in a loft. He didn't really have a closet. We had one of those zip-up closets. You know, you can make all the excuses in the world, and we all do. I decided that day that was it. And all my friends smoked. But I said that was it. I went to the gas station. I bought a cigarette. I ordered in between. I ordered, those blue cigarettes. Those didn't work for me. I went through a couple different brands of cigarettes before I found something that worked for me. In the meantime, I did not smoke. I never went cold turkey. I would just deal with what I had. I was on cigarettes for about 3 years. I know a lot of people say they don't work for them. Not everything is gonna work for you. Not what works for me is gonna work for you, or what works for the next guy is gonna work for you. You have to find your own way, and you have to find what works for you. But don't give up. Keep at it, because you will find something that will work, and your life will change forever. By day 3, when I finally found what really worked for me, by day 3, my smoker's cough was gone. Gone. I mean, I woke up every morning hacking. And my philosophy was, hurry up and have a cigarette. That'll stop it. It always did. Don't know why. But by day 3, my smoker's cough was gone. I was astounded. I was flabbergasted. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I did cigarettes for about 3 years. Then I walked into my first vape shop. And a whole new world opened up for me. I think my first tank ever, or mod and tank, was a Kanger. Kanger Subbox something, maybe. And then I quickly moved on to the Kanger knee box, which was my holy grail. And I loved it. And it went everywhere with me. To put things a little bit into perspective, my fiance Marin quit at the same time I quit. Was on the cigarettes. Only to find out recently he didn't quit. He would go to work. He would buy a pack of cigarettes. He would smoke while he was at work. Then he would come home and, vape on the cigarettes. So just because something works for me doesn't mean, again, that it works for everybody. But keep fighting. Keep fighting for those people that you honor. I honor my cousin, even though she hasn't died of smoking-related illnesses. I had the choice to quit smoking. She didn't have the choice to live or die from cancer. So for me to pick up another cigarette, I think would be very selfish to her memory and her honor. Because she didn't have a choice. And I watched her fight to the very end. Tell your vaping story. If you don't want to get online and tell your vaping story, or get on camera and tell your vaping story, that's fine. Just tell it. Tell it to somebody who smokes. Tell it to somebody who doesn't smoke. Tell it to your teenage children. Tell it to your, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. Tell it to anybody who will listen. Because you never know the day that your story is going to make a difference to somebody. And they're going to throw away those cigarettes. And they're going to start a new life for themselves. Vaping saved my life. Am I in the best shape of my life? No, I'm not going to make one of these stories that, oh, I'm in the best shape of my life now. I exercise all the time. I eat healthy. I'm a total health nut now and whatever. No, but I can breathe. I can taste. I can smell. And I always think back, especially around this time, to my cousin Carrie. She's not doing any of those things. So whatever it takes for you to say enough's enough, that's good enough. That's your vaping story. It's fine. Even if you just passed the refrigerator and saw a picture of your child. Or if you don't have children, you saw a picture of your dog or whatever, and you said, I just want a different quality of life. It's good enough. No one's vaping story is any less important than the other person's. We have to do this. We have to speak out. We have to keep speaking out. For the people that come after us. I mean, I can't even look at this dog. This is so silly. I think about it and it's so silly, but I can't even look at this dog and say, I wouldn't have this dog. I wouldn't be here. More than likely, there's a good chance I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to run around with my dog. He loves the snow. We just went outside. We ran around. We made, fools of ourselves. Well, he's a dog. He can't make a fool of himself. But, I looked so silly. But who cares? We had fun. My grandson walks in every day, and I got to see my grandson born. He's now 7. I get to see him grow up. So whatever your story is, tell it. It's worth it. Whatever your motivation is, it's worth it. If I've reached anybody, one person, I'm happy. I always tell my story. And the end of my story is a good one. I'm here. I'm breathing. I'm living life. I'm enjoying my vape fam so much. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. All of my other friends, my family, my dog, my fiance. I wouldn't have any of this. There's a good possibility I wouldn't have any of this. Life is never guaranteed. But if you can do one thing by quitting smoking to make sure that you have a little longer on this earth, that you stop slowly killing yourself, then do it. The happy ending to my story just happened last week. My mother is a smoker. Even watching my father have 3 heart attacks, bypass surgeries, she's a smoker. I've given her devices before, a couple times. And I kind of had it in my head that, she's even one of those people who would walk in and with, stinking a cigarette, she just had a cigarette, saying, oh, that's worse for you than cigarettes. This is worse than cigarettes. And I would say, Mom, do you know what's in a cigarette? Can you list every single chemical that's in a cigarette? I can list what's in here. Oh, no. I read this on Facebook or I read that on, whatever. So, okay, Mom. Conversation's over. Let's just have a nice dinner. I didn't have the ability. It made me so angry. I didn't really have the ability to talk to her kind of in a sensible way, explain to her. She's one of those people when her mind's made up to something, it's made up. It could be a good thing or a bad thing. At the time, I thought it was a bad thing. Even though I had given her and my father many, devices. Oh, it makes me cough. Yeah, it's gonna make you cough at the beginning. You get used to it. That'll pass. Like my son says to her, cigarettes make you cough, right? Yeah, they do. You know, you can make every excuse in the world why you shouldn't vape. Last week she comes in. She says, I really want to stop smoking. We had a bunch of eye cares that we had bought. If you don't know what an eye care is, it's a little portable kind of device. You just, you charge it, hook it up to your computer. Just a little teeny thing, stealthy, you can stick it in your pocket. There's no buttons, there's no wattage, nothing. And she started puffing on it. She said, I think I could do this. And I said, keep it. She said, okay, I'm going to supplement this. I'm going to, I'm down. Like, I'm really trying to cut down. But I'm going to supplement my cigarettes to this, with this device. And I said, okay, you want tobacco? I can get you tobacco. We only have 6 nic in our eye cares. But I said, I'll get you some 6 nic and I'll get you some 12 nic. I explained to her the difference between smoking a cigarette and vaping a higher nicotine off a device. She said, I don't want to go up in nic. I said, okay, well, I'll give you both. Because the problem is, if you decide that, if you really want to do this, and 6 nic is just not giving you the nic buzz you need, or whatever, you're going to go back to smoking. You're going to smoke. You're going to put that device down and never look at it again. She listened. So even if you have that person, so now mom's vaping. I can't say she's totally off cigarettes, but she's getting there. And if you still smoke and you're watching this, that's fine. No judgments. If you vape and you smoke and you're watching this, that's fine. No judgments. You will get there. Your day will come. You will get there. And you will be able to say, I'm 1 day smoke free. I'm 2 days smoke free. I'm a week smoke free. And everybody in your vape fam will be able to congratulate you. And when we congratulate you, we mean it. We truly mean it. You are a part of a family. So don't ever give up, guys. Tell your vape story. People need to hear it. It was very hard for me to make this movie. I accept my Academy Award, my Oscar, whatever. So we're now at 28 minutes. I'm not going to cut this down for you guys. You need to hear it, and you need to hear it all. And I came like this. This is me. This is me and my vape story. This is my Silence of the Lambs couch. This is my pajamas. This is me with my hair just brushed. No makeup. This is my dog. This is my life. This is my vape story. Tell yours. And talk. Don't give up. Ask questions. Keep trying. We're all here for you. Love you guys.